Jason stared at the phone like it might explode. It wasn't the photo that shook him, it was the caption beneath it. That one sentence shattered everything he thought he knew about her. Billionaire's lost daughter spotted in Ajagunal with mystery boy. There she was, Lily, her smile frozen in time, her hand lightly brushing his shoulder as they sat outside Mama Onom Suya joint. The same corner they always met, the same bench where she once listened to him talk about owning a cafe. Only now, the moment was plastered across social media like a scandal. On blogs. On WhatsApp statuses. On Instagram Reels. And her name wasn't Lily Jones anymore. It was Lillian Douglas. Jason's chest tightened. The air around him suddenly felt heavy, like the oxygen had been snatched away. He sat down slowly, not on a chair, but on the bare ground beside the rusty suya stand. The same stand where she used to tease him about not adding pepper. The meat on his paper plate had gone cold. Just like everything else in his life now. She told him she was nobody. Said she didn't like crowds. That her parents were gone. That she was just tired of the noise. Jason believed her. Why wouldn't he? She wore the same faded hoodie every day. Carried a nylon bag. Ate plain rice without meat. Nothing about her screamed money. Nothing warned him that behind those soft eyes was a Lagos princess, hidden in plain sight. He could hear people talking behind him. Students whispering. Nah, that janitor guy nah. Another voice laughed. She use him catch feelings or she day do social experiment. Jason gritted his teeth. The pain wasn't just heartbreak, it was public disgrace. How do you heal from love when the whole city's laughing at you? Just 3 weeks ago. He was mopping the library hallway when he first saw her. She was sitting alone, hoodie up, pretending to read. She stopped him with a simple question, "Do you like this book?" It was Things Fall Apart. He nodded. "It's real," he said. "Heavy, but real." She smiled. "I like real." And that was how it began. Lunches she insisted on paying for. Nights spent walking home, laughing over Puff Puff. Her eyes always lit up when he spoke about his dreams, a cafe with poetry nights and free food for the poor. She said she'd be his first customer. And maybe more. But it was all fake. A setup. And now the world knew it before he did. Jason slowly rose from the ground. His phone buzzed again. More messages, more tags. He didn't open them. He couldn't. All he could do was walk away, one shaky step at a time, heart pounding, questions swirling. Who was she, really? And why had she chosen him? Before she came into his life, Jason didn't exist, not really. Not to the world around him. People walked past him every day, stepping over his mop, dropping sandwich wrappers he'd have to clean seconds later. No one ever said thank you. No one ever asked his name. Even the security guards who waved at professors barely glanced his way. He was a shadow with a broom, a nameless body in a navy blue uniform, quietly earning 20,000 Nigerian nairas a month and surviving on vibes and boiled Gary. But he didn't complain. That wasn't how he was raised. Jason's grandmother used to say, if the world won't give you a seat at the table, build your own bench. She raised him in a cramped room with leaking zinc and cockroaches that wouldn't die, yet she never once allowed him to speak like a victim. She taught him how to cook, pray, and iron his shirt sharp enough to cut pride in two. She died in his final year of secondary school, and that was when the real hunger started. No inheritance. No siblings. Just a boy with calloused hands and a dream of something better. He worked for a tailor during the day, washed cars at night, and eventually got a janitor job at Royal West University, a private school that smelled like perfume and air-conditioned entitlement. He wasn't supposed to attend lectures, but he sat in the back when he could. No one noticed. No one cared. Until her. He remembered the day clearly. She walked into the library like she didn't belong, hoodie up, slippers worn thin. He was cleaning the far corner when their eyes met. She didn't flinch or look away. Instead, she held up a book and asked, "Do you like this?" He'd stuttered. "Yeah. I mean, it's real. The kind of book that reminds you life doesn't always go the way you plan." She smiled. Not like rich girls smiled. Not like anyone had ever smiled at him before. That day, she offered him a puff-puff. The next day, she brought him a meat pie. The third, she just sat beside him in silence. Jason had seen girls before, plenty. Some laughed too loud. Some flirted for sport. Some stared right through him. But Lily listened. She laughed at his silly jokes. She asked about his dreams, and really waited for the answer. And when he told her about his dream cafe, she didn't mock him. She didn't even blink. "You should do it," she'd said softly. "I'd come every week. And I'd bring people too." Now he wondered, had that been a lie too? Just something she said to keep playing poor? He had loved the way she saw him. But maybe, just maybe, she had only seen what she needed to see. The sun was just rising when Lily, or Lillian, as the whole world now knew her, stepped out of the black SUV and into silence. Her father's estate in Banana Island looked more like a hotel than a home. Polished glass. Guard dogs. Security men with eyes sharper than bullets. But inside, it was colder than outside. Chief Vincent Douglas didn't look up from his breakfast when she entered. His suit was pressed. His fork moved with surgical rhythm. "You're trending," he said calmly, scrolling on his tablet. Lily stood frozen. "No apology could fix this. I told you to lie low. Keep the family name out of the mud," he continued. "But instead, you end up sharing suya with a janitor in the slums." "His name is Jason," she said quietly. Her father dropped his fork. "His name," he said slowly, "is irrelevant." Lily's stomach churned, but she didn't flinch. For years, she'd obeyed this man. The business meetings. The boarding schools. The arranged engagement he tried to force on her at 19. But when she turned 21, she walked out. She gave up the cars, the credit cards, the title. She just wanted to feel human again. She changed her name. Moved into a cheap hostel near the university. Enrolled herself quietly and started living as a nobody. She thought she could escape the chains, and maybe, find something real. And she had. In Jason. But now, everything had exploded. Meanwhile, Jason sat by the gutter outside his street. He hadn't slept. The internet wouldn't stop ringing. People from class who had ignored him were suddenly DMing him. "Omo, you don day date billionaire daughter. Baba you blow oh." He didn't reply. He didn't feel like a star. He felt like a fool. The worst part wasn't that she lied. It was that she chose him, built something with him, and still never told the truth. He had bled honesty into that friendship. Shared his past, his fears, his poetry. And now he was just some project in a tabloid headline. He turned off his phone. Then he remembered her eyes. That night by the church bench. She looked afraid. She told him she didn't want to go home. That she hated the world she came from. He thought she meant a broken family, or maybe poverty. Not palaces. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered to himself. Across town, Lily sat in her room. Now repainted, redesigned like everything else her father controlled. She looked at her old hoodie folded in her bag, the one Jason used to tease her about. She missed him. But what she didn't know was that her father had already made plans. Jason returned home to a crowd outside his compound. Children were whispering. Mothers were shaking their heads. Someone had pasted white paper across the entrance gate. He pushed through the gathering and snatched one of the letters. Notice of demolition. All tenants must vacate within 7 days. Property acquired for private development, Vincent Douglas Enterprises. His heart stopped. Vincent Douglas. That name again. The man behind the malls. The hotels. The headlines. And now, the man who owned his home. Jason's fingers trembled. This was no coincidence. This was war. He stormed to his room, barely noticing the voices calling after him. The room was hot, dusty, silent, his one place of peace. Now it felt like a coffin. He sat on the edge of his mattress and stared at the letter. He couldn't afford to move. He had nowhere to go. The neighbors were already packing. Someone was crying outside. An old man sat on a stool and whispered, "They've sold us out." Just like that. Jason clenched his jaw. The last time he'd been this angry was the day his grandmother died and no one came to help. Now, her words echoed, "If the world won't give you space, carve it with your hands." Across the city, Lily sat at her window, hugging her knees. She hadn't eaten. Her phone buzzed non-stop, but she didn't care. The last thing she saw before going offline was a photo of Jason's compound with the eviction letter plastered across the gates. She rushed downstairs. Her father was in the garden, drinking imported wine, talking numbers with men in suits. "You're evicting him," she shouted, interrupting everything. The men turned, confused. Her father raised an eyebrow. "You're emotional. Sit down." "I'm not sitting." Her voice cracked. "He's losing his home because of me." "What did he do to you?" "He embarrassed this family," Chief Douglas replied, calm as ever. "And so did you." "This wasn't his fault," she cried. "He didn't ask for any of this." The older man took a sip and said, "Exactly. Which is why he doesn't deserve to be part of this world." Lily's eyes welled. "So you destroy his?" Chief Douglas stood, brushing off his agbada. "Don't act like you don't know how this works. The poor stay poor. The rich protect what's theirs. You had your little experiment. Now it's over." She watched him walk away, heart crumbling. Later that night, she opened her hidden stash, old jewelry, watches, things she had secretly kept. She picked up her phone. If her father wanted a fight, she would give him one. The bulldozers came at dawn. Roaring machines with tinted windows and polished steel teeth. Workers in orange vests paced the street with clipboards. Residents scrambled to carry mattresses, pots, children. Jason sat on his wooden stool, a bag by his feet, a paper in his hand. The letter had no mercy in its words. Just business. He didn't know where he would go. His boss at the university had already cut his hours because of the noise. And now, with nowhere to sleep, he couldn't even pretend to fight. He'd lost everything. Then came the silence. A long black Prado SUV pulled up beside the bulldozers. A man in a suit jumped out, waving his hand wildly. "Stop everything," he shouted. Everyone froze. Jason stood slowly. A few neighbors looked up from their bags. The driver popped the back door, and Lily stepped out. But this wasn't the Lily he knew. Her hoodie was gone. Her face wasn't hiding. She wore a simple white top, her natural hair tied in a bun, and her eyes locked straight onto his. She walked up to him without a word, handing him a folder. Jason took it reluctantly. His fingers trembled as he opened the flap. Inside were signed documents. Legal papers. Land registry files. A stamped injunction. And at the top, private acquisition blocked, property owned by Ms. Lillian Douglas. He looked up, stunned. "I sold my shares," she said, voice soft. Used the money to buy back this block. It's yours now. No one's demolishing anything. Jason's mouth opened but nothing came out. Why? He finally whispered. Tears welled in her eyes. Because when I had nothing, you gave me something no one else ever did, freedom. Peace. Laughter. You didn't love my name or my money. You just loved me. He looked at the paper again. I don't know if I can ever trust you the same. I understand, she said, swallowing hard. I didn't come here to ask for your love back. I came to return the dignity I took away. The street was quiet now. The neighbors watched silently, some wiping tears. The workers turned their trucks around. Jason looked at her, really looked. He saw the girl he met in the library. The girl who bought him Puff Puff. The girl who asked if he liked things fall apart. He stepped forward. So, what happens now? She smiled through the tears. Now, you open that cafe. A slow grin broke across his face. And you, he said, can be my first customer. Dear viewers, what lessons did you grasp from this wonderful epic story? Comment your answers in the comment box below. If you enjoyed this wonderful story, like, share and hit the subscribe button to keep you notified whenever we drop videos like this. See you soon.